favor. This is one more, please.
Otra, por favor, is kind of like the Ivy League of podcast. Nah, I'm kidding. No, we're more like the state school, bro.
More like Texas State.
Yeah, we're a party school over here.
Or what is the one school in Houston? It's
Rice.
Rice.
We're Rice University.
We're the Rice of podcasts.
Nah, I don't know. We're more like Cougars, like UH.
Cougars.
Oh, speaking of, man, UT is actually playing U of H next year because UH got in the Big 12 football.
Oh, for real?
Well, I guess all sports we're going to play them now. But a lot of my friends, some of my friends are excited about it because the game is in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've played against each other competitively in a long time. So it should be a fun one to go to. It's October 21st.
Are you going to go?
Hell yeah.
Dude, have you ever gone to the U of H campus down, like in Houston, the main one?
Hell yeah.
Dude, it's actually pretty cool. Like it's right by the hood.
It is right by the hood.
It's right by the hood. I had one of my friends. She used to go to school there, and it was like in the 2010s when Drink Houston was around. The
Drink
Roxy.
Houston, the Roxy. You're taking me back now.
Escape 2001.
Hey, that's my hood, bro. You know that's where that was where I grew up right there.
Oh yeah.
Not in Escapade, but around Escapade.
Nah, you grew up in Escapade.
Going to the phone parties and shit.
and you know,
very hygienic.
Dude, those phone parties back in the. I mean, so have you like say the older generations, whenever they talk about like partying, they're like, oh, you know, my days they were like this and they were like that. I'm like, I really don't say that because I still go out, you know. So I don't live in the past.
Oh, here we go.
So I like say for example, I'm not like the
chavorruco.
El chavorruco, ándale. If there's one thing that like I guess, you know, like go out and have fun and enjoy life, pero ¿tú te sientes chavorruco tú?
I feel like I could switch it on, but I rarely choose to switch it on. You know what I mean? Like I did enough. I did it a lot. And I'm happy with that. But right now, I'm at that point where I am perfectly fine with calling it a night, you know, being cozy, watching a movie from home. But on occasion, like, there's always that blue moon where you just got to go all out. And I'm about to have some of that this upcoming weekend with the friends trip to Puerto Vallarta. So.
Oh, yeah, you're going to Puerto Vallarta.
Yes, sir.
Dude, that's good, man.
Flying out Friday.
It's your first trip of the year.
Yes, sir. First international trip of the year. I'm excited. We're celebrating a few birthdays. Chaparro, former part of the pod, always part of our hearts.
Javi.
David. And we're celebrating another good friend's birthday over there. So it's like a total of 14 people.
Wait, Chaparro's going?
Yeah.
Oh, for real? I did not know about that.
Well, yeah, we're celebrating his birthday, bro.
Who's all going from the people that I know?
Ernie.
Ernie's going?
Ernie Chaparro, me, our respective ladies, and I guess you met Julie. Julie's and her group of friends. Okay. So you probably did you ever meet my boy Rigo? Not the Rigo that we have brought here, but
El Santo Rigo.
El otro Rigo. Un amigo de mi esposa, Madison.
I think so.
Un chavo. He's a good guy. He was Rick and Morty at like a Halloween party one time. I don't know if you remember. Anyways, he'll be there too. So I think you know everybody, but in an ideal world, like you would be there with us, man. But
in an ideal world, man, you know, that process starting soon. I was looking for this one document that it was my shots from Mexico, like vaccines, and I already got them.
That's good.
So, I already got the document. So that's like something that I really needed. And then my mommy sent me the picture like, oh, here it is. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Hell yeah, bro.
So, I mean, those things, if you look at it, it's timings. And then when you're doing a physical, like they're going to want to know, make sure you took all your shots when you were younger. And I'm like, the tequila, the ron, the whiskey, the todo. So, But yeah, welcome to Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
And we are honored and we are glad that you guys are spending time with us. And as you guys know, we are called a podcast that we celebrate experiences that deal with fútbol, vida, and cultura. We are actually grateful to be back in the studio. Austin, for those of you guys that are not in Austin, we went through a pretty rough week last week. And it was just, I would say, in my opinion, an unexpected ice storm.
Well, it's starting to happen every year, so I feel like everyone kind of expects some type of freeze, some type of thing to happen for the past 3 years, ever since the one that happened back in 2021. Was it the big freeze 2021?
2021, yeah.
Yeah, so like after that, everyone kind of expects a big freeze, but the quickness in which conditions can change, that's what catches people by surprise. And I think this one in particular was interesting because it wasn't snow, it was an accumulation of ice, which started to weigh down trees, and we started to get what everybody saw around town, falling branches that started to affect people's access to power as branches began to fall on overhead power lines. So that this time it wasn't so much of a failure of the power grid in itself. It was just a failure of our infrastructure, of our overhead power lines, and of our, like, I guess, upkeep of trees, and making sure that limbs are not overhanging power lines. But either way, people were faced with being without power for an extended period of time. I have a coworker who just got power back today.
Damn.
So that dude and many other people like him, we're struggling, man. We're struggling without power. Luckily, the weather kind of got better, but still, nobody wants to have their food go bad, go without like light, being able to having to take showers in the dark. Like, it's just a lot of inconveniences that we take for granted, and that people had to deal with, and that now is starting to become more of a regular thing here in Austin.
Well, like, and also, for example, I mean, one person that everybody knows is Stuber, and his wife, Ashley, I believe. They spend, they just got their power not too long ago, and it's just like someone in that, well known in his neighborhood, still like dealing with that, or now just getting sort of go back to normality. But the cell phone service is still down. Like, I still don't get no reception. You like no internet but Wi-Fi. I mean, it works, but just it's one of those things that these type of situations, man, it's tough because one, like, luckily for me, whenever we had a tree that split, a small tree, and the split actually ended up. The limb actually fell away from the house and not like in the house. But I would imagine for people that, the limbs fell like over their roof, and or someone that's older that, that maybe won't be able to move their whatever branches or whatever limbs are, in their house. And how was it for you? How did you deal with this situation?
Look, I was very, very blessed, very lucky. Nothing really much happened other than my job site that I work at was shut down a few days because the roads were, you weren't able to drive down them safely, and schools were shut down. So it just affected a little bit of my work day-to-day schedule, but we had power, we had water, so it wasn't much. I mean, honestly, it was very lucky, and we got the chance to kind of, welcome my sister who was in town at the time, and my cousin as well, who both, for whatever reason, they were without power, and they stayed at our house for a bit, meanwhile, till things got figured out. But that's what we can do. Like, if it doesn't affect you, you can, we took it as an opportunity to say, hey, we're here. If anybody needs a place or somewhere to crash, welcome them with open arms. And we got more than enough food.
That's good, man. That's good.
Yeah.
Or like, say, for example, one thing is also conserving the energy, like, say, that's one thing that, like, for me is sometimes I didn't really use the Peloton because that takes energy.
It also creates energy.
It also creates energy. That's true. That's true. But it's just one of those that I was just trying to be mindful of. Okay, like luckily my wife was just very good at, getting stuff ahead of time. So we had stuff at home. It was just my dog thought like all the popsicle, the branches with ice were popsicles. So every time we had to take him out on the walk, he would just like spend 10 minutes in there, you know, going ham with it. But nah, man, like I want to ask everyone, how did you do it? How did you do it, but how did you, feel, and how were you during this situation? Because for me, if there's one thing that I have is this type of situations tend to weigh me down emotionally and also just drain me down like anemically, like in Spanish es estado anémico, which te da flojera or te cambia todo. You have, because someone, like say for me, I'm always up and down, going here, going there. And situations like this is kind of like they wear me down more than give me energy.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's an interesting thing that you say, because in my case, what it does, it helps me kind of slow down and just realize what's important and what are things that are like taking up your mind space and like stressing you out. And then when you're kind of forced to just be at home and be with, your home unit, you realize like, oh, like in a crisis situation, or in a situation where everything's kind of shut down, it makes you kind of reflect on what's important. So for me, it was like kind of a reflective period. And a little bit reminded me of the big freeze from 2021, but also reminded me of like the COVID days. There's like some COVID vibes, like of shut down, you know what I mean? But it was like a short period of time.
Yeah, it was like,
and we didn't experience such discomfort, like any discomfort. So like I said, we did not experience all the challenges that many people faced. So
yeah, that's true. Now I'm blessed. I mean, we're blessed to, I would say, dodge another bullet, because we didn't lose power when the freeze happened.
Yeah, it could easily change the next winter storm. We could easily have something else that affects us. I grew up in Houston, so that kind of gets you used to the climate, the things that weather and extreme weather can do, whether it be, high winds, gusts, flooding. Flooding was a big thing for me growing up. My house flooded multiple times, and it was just something that you not necessarily that you look forward to, but it was something that you knew could happen. And when it did, you knew like that you were preparing for this beforehand because you saw the signs, and then you just remain calm and you try to figure out how to help your situation, help others out, and the community kind of comes together. So like when I see situations like this come in Austin, it just reminds me of like, all right, this is the type of stuff weather can do, but I know that Texans are really good at coming together and helping each other out with information, with resources, with a helping hand. I have a neighbor that is like, hey, I got a chainsaw. I can help you cut the branches in your backyard. Like, I think that stuff is like very special to our region. We talk a lot of, we could talk about the bad things about Texas, but I think one of the good things is that people help each other out in times of need.
I agree. So living in Galveston, we faced several hurricanes, as we know, the town was there. And like say, for example, more so evacuations. The only big hurricane that hit Galveston was Ike. But you would see whenever there's a time of, like Harvey, Austin, Houston, in that moment, it didn't matter who you believed on. It didn't matter who you supported. Everyone helped each other out. And for a week or so, everybody's on the same page, just trying to survive out of this. Or you have people that actually are in a better situation going down and trying to help the person that is in a bad situation. And that's good. That's good to see. That's one thing that I really like about Texas is, like you said, it's just the fact that everybody seems to always have a helping hand whenever situations like this occur. And it won't be the last one. I'm pretty sure we're going to face more. But these situations also, like what you're saying, is how you dealt with it. Like you somehow trust in the process of life.
Yeah. Before we move on, one thing I definitely learned almost the hard way is don't walk around frozen trees. I was in my backyard just checking on stuff.
Yeah, Marito.
And literally I turned my back to my neighbor's side of the fence, and I heard the tree coming down and splitting.
Fuck.
And it was like an Indiana Jones type escape, bro. Like literally, I heard it. I glanced up and I was like, fuck. So I just ran in the opposite direction of the tree and like literally
Dang.
where I was standing, that entire trunk and branches like just fell right there. And the weight of, I don't know, someone made a graph of like how much those trees weigh with ice, and it's just an insane amount. Like I think it's up to, I don't know, like way more than the weight of the tree. So that could have knocked me out, and maybe I wouldn't have been here doing this podcast right now.
Hey.
I was very lucky. I forgot about that, but that shit got my heart pumping in the morning. I'll tell you that.
If there's one thing that particular moment had you as earned the jacket of Indiana Jones. So now
hell yeah, dude.
Cookie Jones.
Yeah. We gotta talk on the jacket. My wife got me this jacket for my birthday. She knows how much I love leather.
Yeah.
The tan. And yeah, I guess it is Indiana Jones-esque.
It looks good on you,
Hey,
man.
thank you, man.
It looks good on you.
I'm feeling like the minister of culture or something like that. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, man. I wonder how many games he's gonna be coming to this next year, next season.
Whatever, dude.
But
As long as you're there.
yeah, as long as you're there.
Hey, there we go.
Up there, with us.
Hell
Going,
yeah.
Vamos, ale, ATX. Ale, ATX. Speaking of Austin FC,
Let's get into
I
it.
was listening to a podcast that Josh Wolff and Owen Wolff were invited, and it's called The Coach's Room. It was on YouTube. I believe it's part of the podcast itself is part of the PSB team, because they've also brought other coaches, and I think there was one with Reina as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which we have some type of strategic partnership with, right? PSV.
Yeah, because Owen was actually wearing the PSB jacket.
Yeah, I got confused. I was like, what the hell?
Right.
Did something change?
Yeah.
But no, Owen is still with us
And
for now.
For now. And the podcast was actually very, very good, because you have Josh Wolff is used to answering questions from the press. So he knows how to answer some questions. He's actually getting better. And actually, even like this setting right here was like a perfect setting, because there's more you can talk about rather than just like, hit. You got 10, 15 minutes and everybody, and that's it. And it's not feeling rushed after a game. So the I would say the art of the beauty of podcasting is sometimes conversations like this, for example, bring you more to light, like say brings more of the person. You get to know them more. You get to understand a little more why they think a certain way. And Josh was there. Wolff, Owen, at first he was kind of like, he's still young. He's like, podcasting, this is more for like older guys. But I think seeing how Josh Wolff interacted in the podcast and in the conversation, it kind of helped Owen feel more relaxed and more calm. But if there's one thing that I notice is the level of respect that you can see Owen has for his dad. It could be as a coach, it could be as a father, but every time he referred to, like Josh, he was like, yeah, my father. That's a pretty good thing. And then I've seen him, cross paths as, as Rob, just getting or leaving or whatnot in the stadium. And if there's one thing that I've seen him do is he actually goes and greets or says bye to everyone there, or as much as possible. And we had a guest in a podcast in the previous where, they said how much the character of Josh Wolff is, maybe is also implemented in Owen, so he won't just be a brat, especially at a young age. When you make a debut at 16, 17, you have to be guided the correct way. And in this particular podcast, Josh Wolff talked a lot about trusting the progress more than the results. That's what I got from it. It might be something that could be different, but that's right. Understood. And a lot of it was just talking about, let's say, for example, the first season and how things were not going the right way, injuries and whatnot, 9 games away at the beginning of the season. And then how the focus of like I said, the previous season was to win games. But it wasn't much of the result, but also like building the culture, building everyone around it. And for you as whenever you think of a project, for example, for yourself, do you think of the result, or do you prioritize the result, or do you prioritize the process?
Well, I think there's like different types of projects, man, and different types of environments. So, and it really depends on what you're getting into. So, for example, you look at a league like the Premier League, and the stakes are so high, especially with teams facing relegation.
Yeah.
That those types of projects require results. And as much as you want to focus on process, there's teams that don't, there's projects that don't have the luxury of giving that patience and the time needed to make a process happen because they're facing relegation. Like on a personal aspect, there are projects that I've been on where it's kind of been quick hitters. You got to go in and out. It's like, you got to find what works best quickly and make decisions quickly and fail quickly and learn from that and just go. There's been longer projects where we've been able to kind of sit down and focus more strategically on how we want to get things done and workflows and stuff. So like, but at the end, whether it's short term or long term, what is most important in any process, I think, is knowing your why it is what you're doing. Why it is that you're doing the steps that you're doing. Why are you setting up this type of system? And one thing that I noticed on the coaches room with interviewing with Josh and Owen Wolff is the commitment to a growth mindset, to just like really focusing on having faith in that process, and that comes with experience, right? So like you touched on some of the challenges that Austin FC faced at the beginning of the first season. You know, they had COVID to deal with. They had 9 away games. A bunch of players learning a different system. But I think they dealt with it in a very beautiful way, because like Josh and his team were able to see progress, while everybody, all the external side, us pundits, people were just like kind of just not understanding it and screaming at wanting change. But the team inside, they saw these pieces coming together. They saw the picture, even though we couldn't see it from the outside. So it's that comes a lot with trust. I mean, obviously with results, you get confidence, but true confidence, that's something that we saw in Josh and his team and the entire Austin FC team, in being able to have a season one with like 20 or something losses and being able to bounce back in the second season, going second in the Western Conference and fighting for the title. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I think what Josh Wolff has done is there's some level of the players also being able to somehow understand what he wants and how he wants to work. And a lot of that, like you said, the why, like say, for example, why, it was important to maybe have continuation of him, like being head of coach. And now going into a new season, 2023, is because there's just something about the team that, the camaraderie, and whenever we see it, you can see it, you can see the players, and that kind of helps also weed out the people that are not necessarily good for the team as well. Like we've had several like players that didn't work out for us, and it was just better for them to go away and bring in players that maybe they weren't as like big shining stars, but somehow they were able to adapt to the team. And I think Josh Wolff is big on finding that, hey, it's okay. Like we're going to add another point or whatever, in his mind is like another point or another percentage of passing from a player or another shot, maybe another run, something, this guy ran maybe, because there was another podcast that I was listening to, like kind of like snippets of it where like they focus a lot of like say the physical, but also a lot of like everyone is in sync. The health department, or like the doctors, the physical therapist, the strength and conditioning coaches, the coaches itself, they're all in sync into what they want to do and how they want to do it and why they want to do it.
They're all rowing the same way.
They are rowing the same way.
Yep.
And that's a key thing to have whenever you have a organization like a soccer team.
For sure.
Sometimes even, let's say we probably won't see people agree to some decisions the club makes, but it seems like everyone in the club itself, they're somehow in the same page.
Yeah. And I think that's what gets me so frustrated sometimes with like reactions.
Yeah.
I think we as just human beings have the tendency to be emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you get smacked in the face by Dallas a few times. We weren't able to beat them for I don't know how many games. And you start getting kind of emotional or like certain games hit you harder than others, right? But that shouldn't be like the part that always kills me is when people like jump to conclusions like after all of a sudden it's Josh Wolff out or
Stuber Malo
bench him like he's the worst or this player shouldn't see the light of day or just not really that kind of shows like a little bit of lack of faith into an organization, but I understand frustration can build. But what strikes me as odd is like the immediate reaction. And I think we live in a very immediately reacting society. Like everybody wants to tweet or social post their take as quickly as possible. I'm like, how has the game even processed? How have you digested? Imagine having to rate a taco and like you just smell it, you bite it, and you just have to like, oh yeah, it's fucking good taco. Like, well, how do you know? What if you get sick the next day? You know what I mean?
You know what? No, actually, that's a good point. That's a very good point because we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know how a person feels. Like, say, for example, Digite leaving, going to be closer to his family. Gabrielson, similar thing. The taco, for example, it could be good, but what are you get the shits the next day. But stuff like that is just one of those that as we're starting a new season, it's kind of like, how are people going to react? I mean, yes, there's going to be times where we might get our ass beat, but at the end of the day, it's like, hey, man, you got to pull together. And this is where the Verde hasta la muerte comes.
Exactly. And they actually touch on that, on the ownership part of it. Like, you got to own the good results, and you also got to own the bad results. Yeah. And you got to own them. You got to really feel like that you're responsible for that one part or whatever part you played a part of it. Mm-hmm. It's not their failure. It's not Josh Wolff's failure. It's not the player's failure. It's our failure. Yeah. Like, did we do our job? Yeah. That at the end of the day.
There's one thing that like maybe I have been kind of slacking with Barcelona because I really don't get involved with it as much as I should. And part of it is all the results they got in. And I'm kind of like, man, I still think like, man, I should just go back to my Blaugrana days and, be courteous and everything, but still be like, hey, vámonos la chavineta y todo ese pedo. But there's a sense of like me sometimes like, when shit goes south, I'm like, let me, I don't want to be part of that. But nah, man, I think
you got to do what gives you joy, man. At the end of the day.
At the end of the day, yeah, it's true. That's true. But hey, hopefully this season we get plenty of joy with plenty of goals. Everyone scores, even my boy Rodney. Now thinking of like, say for example, also whenever, like say for example, this storm, right? We all somehow have a progress, or we all have something that we're working on. Situations like this can bring some type of discontinuation to a project where you're working on. And one thing that like for me is whenever like situations like the winter storm come, like I said earlier, man, it wears me down emotionally. Like, I don't know why, like me meten un hoyo, and it's not that I get sad, but it's como que me da pereza. And it's easier for me to, to cope with reality in life when I'm busy than when I'm at home, like just being able to go do what I want to do.
You know what reminded me of what you just said right now? I was listening to this thing and this audiobook, whatever, and it was saying that we live in a world of constant distraction.
Yeah.
We like always want to distract ourselves with like projects, with things to do. And the moment that we don't have any distractions, you realize what you've been distracting yourself from. And maybe that's like a source of uncomfort.
Possibly.
I don't know. I'm not trying.
Possibly.
I'm no therapist. I'm nothing, bro. I'm just this dude.
Dr. Coke. Dr. Indiana Jones Coke.
But dude, yeah, like the winter can be really hard on a lot of people, and I think a lot of it is just the lack of sun. The sun is an incredible thing. Like,
yeah, it is.
It gives us life. It gives us our circadian rhythms. Like it literally sets us. It sets our clock, our internal clock going, and we don't see it as much. And if you don't see it at all, it's gonna mess you up mentally a little bit, whether you like it or not. And you got to find other ways to kind of replenish that type of energy and vibe in you. But dude, something else that happened in this like winter storm, like all the freaking trees that fell down was like kind of wreaked havoc to everybody. But I realized that all those trees, that's obviously an inconvenience and a loss for a lot of people, but that's someone's gain too, because
firewood.
Yeah, firewood. That's like the simplest thing, like firewood, right?
Mulch.
I had a buddy in Houston that I saw recently, and he's like, "Yeah, how's everything in Austin?" All the trees fell. It's freeze. And he's like, "Oh yeah, one of my compadres, he's actually a tree cutter here in Houston, and business was really, really low. And this after this ice storm, he just went straight to Austin, and now he hasn't come back. I can't even reach him." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, that guy is busy right now."
Colgado de un árbol. But like my wife, because we went to get firewood about a couple of weeks ago, and she was like, "Man, I should have just waited." Literally, I'm like, we looked at it.
Did you keep the receipt?
I don't know, but it was like, so we one thing that I ended up doing is I went to Home Depot and I got a small chainsaw. I feel like Texas Chainsaw Massacre right now. Got there, and actually the limb that fell away from the house, I got it to cut down. So now we're just doing the cleanup right now. But my wife wanted to conserve several of the limbs or whatever pieces of wood to be, put it into firewood. But maybe this is gonna get us in trouble with the HOA. But on Sunday, she's like, "Hey, can you pull out the grill?" Like, "Yeah, sure." Pull out the grill, and all the branches that were like pretty much either gonna be dead anyways. Ahí le estaba quemando. Watching Netflix and burning them. Like, hey man, and actually that was quick because all the trash was gone. Like, it made space. So hey,
yeah.
You gotta be responsible. I had the water hose just in case shit went down south.
Yeah.
But no, dude, like I think like that's what like say with this, because it literally, I mean, we're already like starting to crank up for this year and everything. This happened, and like how can I deal with this situation? How can I react? Like, okay, I already took so many naps. I need to do something with my life, and I did get a couple of workouts, but it was just more so like I got like, okay, I see this tree right here, let me just go and get it, and that kind of helped. Cutting those limbs. So
now you're gonna have to get them lumberjack workouts, bro.
Hey man,
you got your plaid shirt ready? You got the beard.
I have a plaid shirt.
You have a perfect beard.
Oh, so actually I didn't even. Like I had a whole like my thing is like, I'm not gonna clean up myself. I mean, of course, take showers, but I'm not gonna shave or cut my hair for the whole month of January. And just about to do it, like this happened. And I was like, well, I guess I just have to wait till like this is over, because I didn't want to be using power, while people needed power in their house. So once I saw people like, okay, a good amount of people got power back, that's when I just went to town on Monday night. No, I mean Sunday night. Sorry.
Nice.
But, yeah, dude. Like I feel like a new man.
You're looking fresh, dude.
Thank
You're
you,
looking
man.
fresh.
I feel like a new man. But everybody that saw me Saturday, it could have been like, "What the hell, Richie? I have never seen him like that."
I promise you, man. That's all in your head. You always look fresh. You always look fresher than like 90% of the crowd there.
Hey, man, I want to be that 1% fresh. Like 1%.
1% fresh.
But no, and then like there's one thing like also that I want to point out is with the progress and like it can be discontinuation. A lot of DACA recipients have progress in life because they are now able to work legally with with what was passed, not a pass, but what was signed. And if nothing gets done, this is literally gonna be like and the Supreme Court takes it away. DACA being done, it's gonna literally be a permanent discontinuation to whatever DACA recipients are doing in this country. Most of the DACA recipients that I know, if not all of them, they are doing some shit here that is right. They're all working. They all have, some kind of certification, degree, their own business. They're all doing their stuff. And then if Congress doesn't act, you're literally going to be breaking a bunch of hearts and you're going to be discontinuing good things that happen. So this goes to Biden, don't use DACA recipients as a part of your, campaign, but nothing's going to happen. Like we're tired of like empty promises. Shit needs to get done because it's easier to come back and work when you have something permanent. But when you don't, dude, it's going to be fucked up. Like it's going to be bad. And people are like, you exaggerated about this. And like, no, I don't. I just know what's going to happen. And I can see it if shit just goes out. Like I can see the amount of, sadness, frustration, broken hearts. And also what America is going to look like as we're heading to the 2026 World Cup. Mm-hmm. It is 2026, right?
Yeah, 2026.
Yeah, there you go. So, man, Biden, whatever you got to do, Congress, Khazar, if you're listening to this, I've been hitting you up several times. Please get shit done. But what are, like, say, for example, we just want to, maybe I talk more about me in this one, but like for you as, how like something you were working on, how did you deal with like a setback or a discontinuation?
Dude, anytime you have like one of the biggest things I wish I could tell myself in the past when I've had setbacks is like, it's going to be okay. And by saying that, I mean, what the tendency is, depending on the size of the setback and like your mental state, it can be to kind of panic or feel that you're alone, or feel that you're never gonna get out of this, but it's gonna be okay. Like that's the one thing I try to kind of exude and let people know, and just by my demeanor, like one thing I really pride myself in is like my level of calmness during situations now, like obstacles that I face now, and knowing that it's going to be okay. And then having some type of action instead of just sitting around waiting for things to get done. It's going to be okay. Pause, reflect on the situation, see what you can do, and then reach out for help if you need to. Talk to your network, talk to your friends, talk to your family, or just reach out. More often than not, people want to help than just see you flounder. So that's kind of the biggest thing that advice that I give myself and just my loved ones is like, just, it's going to be okay. You have the capacity to get through whatever you're doing right now. And if you don't, there's people that want to help you and that can help you. You just got to reach out.
I think that's for me, that's something that I'm getting better at. I am getting better at. And I think this podcast has helped me whenever I go through situations and I can talk it out. But I mean, the okay part, I think I've actually had a pretty good mindset on that. But it's just more like the reaching out for help part. Like, because I was always like, nah, I can do it all myself.
Yeah.
The narcissistic mentality.
The separating the ego, that's like one of the hardest things I think to do. Like if it, me personally, like separating the ego, saying as much as I think that I can take care of this and get this done by myself and like not talk to anybody, it's usually always better when at least you kind of talk it out and like let it breathe in a room with another individual, and they kind of like give you some feedback and give you their thoughts, even if they're things that you don't really want to hear. they're gonna challenge you and help you kind of figure out the next steps forward, whether you like it or not.
I agree. I think that's you're spot on. And sometimes like for me, I'm okay with whenever somebody says something I don't agree with, but it's just more so like separating the ego of like, nah, I can do this by myself. I've learned to ask for help. So that's a good thing, man. I think, and when you're listening to this episode how do you deal with adversity, and, what do you do to respond to it and also to overcome it? Like, say, what has helped you overcome it? Like, you can share it to us, send us a message, email Jorge at Otra por favor, or myself, Ricardo at Otra por favor, and let us know how you deal with it, because maybe what you say to us or what you let us know, maybe you can help us.
In the words of David Goggins, he likes to say, "Don't be a bitch." But in the words of Coke, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. David Goggins, ese güey pasó por unas cosas.
Yeah, he has an incredible story. If you don't know his story, check him out.
I have to check him out, man. But hey, and we got maybe 10 minutes. Austin FC's new kit release is gonna be pretty close, and
they're about to drop it February 15th at the Native Hostel. There's gonna be an event ran from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. or something like that.
I'm pretty sure someone's gonna leak it, and someone might lose their job at the end of the day. Shit happens. I feel like it could release it a little sooner, but it's just me saying that. But then again, I like this excitement of not knowing how it looks like.
Yeah.
Which is like something I'm like, you know what? Because that's why I'm like, I really haven't kept up with like it with the kid, because I'm like, I want to actually find out the day of,
Mm-hmm.
Porque como que tengo un poquito más de emoción. And there's gonna be plenty of jerseys where people can buy. No worries, it's gonna be there. And then another thing is just Barca is first place. They're 8 points over.
What up? Top of the Liga.
Man, it feels good to see Barcelona somehow back in the Liga.
Yeah, Barcelona's like that guy, that meme where he just walks in the room, looks at everybody like, "Are we talking shit? All y'all, we're talking shit."
Hey, I owe my revenue for the next 100 years, but I'm first place.
I sold my soul, but we're here.
We're here. That's good, man.
They beat Sevilla 3-0 this past Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Hey, then they're actually gonna play Man U next week.
Ooh, Europa League.
So the same as on the 15th. There's gonna be Man U Barcelona, the kit release, and also we're gonna be playing Sacramento Republic at the Q2. So someone actually put in
same caliber, bro. Like, I'm gonna have difficulty, like Sacramento Republic or Barcelona. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna watch.
Someone actually put it like, "Hey, did the team actually plan this like game to be closed doors, so nobody actually goes to the Q2 and everybody goes to the party, or is the game gonna be early?" I assume it's gonna be early. If it's gonna be closed doors. But yeah, man, dude, I was actually also at the preseason one against El Paso Locomotive.
Yo, yes, the turnout there was insane, bro.
It was cool to see everybody back.
I saw Kevin Morris tweet about it, talking about it's crazy, the 4D chess that the Austin FC is playing by paying all these fans to go out for a preseason game.
Hey, did you already get your check?
Yeah, I'm waiting on my check. Yeah, I didn't go. Richie's getting his check, and I think Avalanche tweeted that he's going to use his check to buy the new kit. So it's all a cyclical economic process. So
did you already get your check from last year though?
Oh yeah. It's in the mail for sure.
Yeah, you got a W-2 and everything. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to a new season. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm pretty excited about like this couple of weeks are gonna be people just just giving their predictions. The thing is gonna be a draft going on. The Northern Podcast is gonna have something with Moon Tower, Ring of Fire, and We Austin TV. So I like when people are just like say the kid concepts, even though like they probably won't pick your kid for this time. Who knows? You come up with a kid concept, maybe you're giving them an idea. But I would say if we're gonna start doing kid concepts, do it like starting June, because that way, I don't know. I feel like the team should pick from the best of who came up with the design for a kid.
I don't know how any of that works. How do they pick their kit?
Probably graphic designers. Just
Adidas.
Adidas
Is working hard, burning the midnight oil.
Yeah. Well, now they have to because Kanye is not there anymore. So
we don't talk about Kanye here.
That man should not be unspoken. That name should be unspoken.
Oh, dude, I'm really excited about that Barca Man U game because those are my two favorite teams. So it's a win-win for me. But
so we're gonna have a Barca on one side, Man U on the other side.
I probably won't
and
wear
Austin FC in the front.
I probably won't wear a jersey. I'll watch that game in the nude. Probably. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of, I got a tattoo.
Where?
But that's
Do I want to know where?
Yeah. Look.
Oh shit! He got a tattoo on his head. Oh shit!
We went to eat Pluckers and several of us got it. It was like right next, and the Pluckers are 183, so it's pretty cool.
Hell yeah!
We got a pretty good pricing on it.
Hey, he got it tatted on his body.
Yeah, huevo.
Man,
what
did Knox say?
Well, I told her it was this or it was a picture of Diego Fagundes throwing los verdes.
Okay,
and ended up getting this.
It's okay. He's got a picture of Knock in an unmentionable spot tattooed in his body.
It has an arrow pointing somewhere. It could be in the front or it can be in the back. And last but not least, before we go to the EPL, I had mentioned to several of my friends that I was going to pick a team. Today's the day where I pick a team. Well, I've actually been sort of following this team for some time, for a while. But I didn't want to make a decision or say anything whenever they were like in their high. I wanted to say it when they were like in their low, not doing good. So in this bag, I have the team that I have picked.
Oh shit, bro! What do you want? Drum roll?
And the team is.
Oh, you'll never walk alone.
Never walk alone. That's right.
Wow.
I officially call myself a supporter of Liverpool.
Wow. What a day. This is Otra, por favor, history, y'all. Richie, I'm proud of you for choosing the team in the EPL. I can't wait to whoop that ass with Man U, though.
I want to talk trash. Even though we're not doing good. I've actually been following Liverpool for some time already. I would say since Suarez. But not really like became officially like, okay, this is my team. But I liked it.
What brought you to Liverpool?
So the whole I liked the team from back when they won the Champions League in 2015. That was like something that like, it's pretty cool. And I've always been drawn to a team like that, They're not the best. They're not the worst, pero andan peleando. Y les dan pelea a todos. And then I started just, I saw that and then just follow them when they got Fernando Torres. I feel like that was the peak of him in the English Premier League. And Suarez comes in as well. So that's another thing that I really liked about it. And then just the I would say, what really revolves, I would say, the story of the team, the jerseys, they always, I like most of the jerseys when they release them. And how Jurgen Klopp came in after Rodgers left, and pretty much built a team with not a lot of superstars. Mm-hmm. And what could have been probably like the downhill for Liverpool after Coutinho left, but actually they somehow managed to come back up, and they had players like Mo Salah and Sané, that two players that weren't really superstars. They came into the team. For me, it was like, the hell, like these two guys. But once they started playing under Coutinho's system, under Klopp's system, it worked out. Henderson, I like how he plays. There's also the Firmino, just seeing him, like score but the one thing that I was like, man, like kind of like took me away from it was when they beat Barcelona. I was kind of like bitter because like, man, they took out Barcelona. Just the way they took out Barcelona.
We don't gotta talk about that.
We're not gonna talk about that, but it's just one of those that like just the how somehow, even though you can take out some players that are superstars or whatnot, they can still manage to come back. And I like how Klopp has been in the team since 2016 to like now, and rough season this past couple of seasons, but overall, like, man, they've been doing some pretty good things. And I liked them before that. Steven Gerrard, I'm also a big one of the biggest guys there. What I used to play there. You know, I'm also a big fan of him. So there's a lot that goes around there.
They probably had one of the greatest Champions League comeback of all time against AC Milan back in 2004, 2005.
2004.
I don't remember what year it was, but damn, that was a crazy comeback. I think one thing that you didn't mention, but I know this is a reason why you picked Liverpool as well, is that they have probably some of the most incredible fans in the world.
I was gonna go with that too.
Their stadium, when they're singing their chant, "You'll Never Walk Alone." I think that is a one of a kind environment that no matter what team you root for, that's like something that you respect and that you admire for a stadium to unite and sing and feel the colors like they do. I think I saw a video recently of Jose Mourinho and Arsene Wenger from like the box kind of broadcasting level looking down at Anfield, and they just stopped in the middle of a conversation like we're having and stopped and looked while they were singing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and they were like, nothing we say is as important as that. Like what we're saying here doesn't matter. What matters is this.
And that's class. That's class.
Those are two coaches that coach, like two managers that were on two different teams that played against us many times. And one thing, like kind of related story to that is when you remember last season when Ronaldo's wife had a miscarriage and Man United played Liverpool that following week after he had that tremendous loss to his family, and the stadium sang for him, "You'll Never Walk Alone," and that's something that
I need to go back and
that was like very special to him. That he was like that meant so much to me. So yeah, the fans are one of a kind, and that's something that like me as a Man U fan, I have a lot of respect for Liverpool and their fans and their culture.
Hey man, if you're a Liverpool fan, I'm with you now. You'll never walk alone. Now I'm ready for like this season. I'm excited to see how the like the second part of the league is gonna end, and hopefully we at least go to Europa League.
Yeah.
And we'll play Barcelona.
We'll see what happens, man. But this weekend during the Premier League, my Man U beat Crystal Palace 2-1, putting themselves in third place. You got Bruno Fernandes scored the PK. Rashford is on fire since the World Cup started or finished. He has not been able to stop scoring. That man is hot. And my favorite, Casemiro, saw red.
Oh yeah, I heard
he was choking out a player.
No, the thing is like the guy had stuck like
he was just
peanut.
Hey, wait! He was giving him
He was fixing them like letting him know like, hey, this is the beard band. Don't go.
It was a hilarious Homer Simpson, Bart Simpson moment that I'll never forget. But Casemiro saw red, and there's some shaky moments at the end. But Man U went through.
My boy Coca, man, are you gonna do that to somebody at the pitch when we play next time?
Bitch, I might. I don't know. I don't put hands on people like that. I do good slide tackles, good body.
There you go. My Liverpool we got better ass beat by Wolves.
Yeah, the Wolves, man.
Pinches Wolves.
Lopetegui is changing. Has changed the face of Wolves for sure. Another surprising result. Everton beat Arsenal 1-0. What the fuck? Did not expect that. They just hired a new manager, Sean Dyche, and some people, a lot of people like to say teams get that new manager bounce that first game. We'll see if that sticks because Everton is fighting relegation.
Well, Leeds also fired their coach. No?
Leeds fired Jesse March, the only American coach in the Premier League right now. Well, former. He's not there anymore.
Hey, speaking of different league, pero el Vasco le dio al Real.
Oh, el Vasco le dio a
Real. And it's not the first time. El Vasco le sabe ganar al Real. I don't know how, pero se las ingenia.
Hey, man, that guy is a true treasure. Yeah. True Mexican coaching treasure, man.
He should not go back to Mexico, man. Just stay in Europe. And he does more for the football, for the sport while he coaches in Europe.
He's a true manager.
Yeah.
He's a truly, honestly good manager. Good for him, man.
Yeah, man. But
Dude, Man City lost too against Tottenham, but the bigger story I think right now is they're breaking financial fair play. Accusations.
todo,
So
I mean,
we'll see what happens. Maybe it's a slap
se
on the
van a
wrist.
acomodar,
Maybe it's a point deduction. Maybe it's relegation.
So slapping the wrist is like Man City's holding the money right now. They slap it and people are like, oh, you were gonna drop something. And pa adentro.
Pero el Pep dijo, see, if they lie to me, if I ask them what it was and they lie to me, I'm out of here. A ver si es cierto.
El Pep. A ver, tío
ver si
Pep.
es cierto,
tío Pep. El tío Pep. Imagina que de repente para la selección mexicana.
Oh, shit.
A conspiracy theory.
Hey, you heard it here first. On Otra, por favor. Pep Guardiola's el tri.
Todo por recomendación de Ricardo Lavolpe.
Yeah,
Because the whole el tiki-taka started,
Oh, that's true.
and that idea.
That's true. Build from the back.
Maybe yes, maybe no. Speculations, conspiracy theories. But yeah, man, it was good to record another episode. I'm glad we're back. And I'm glad everybody, somehow got their power back. Let us know if anyone needs anything, cutting down limbs or something, even if
Cutting down their own limbs. Amputations.
Yeah, amputations. We'll do it. Or if you know someone that needs to, I don't know. But no, seriously, like say if you already say the tree already fell, you need someone to help you chop the branches. I have a small little saw. I can do maybe, a couple hours. Una cheve de volada. Good times.
Yeah, and with this weekend coming up, we got the Super Bowl, which I mean, it's basically a Rihanna concert for me.
True.
And Valentine's Day coming up, man. El Día del Amor y la Amistad.
My parents are that's my parents' anniversary.
Oh, qué románticos.
Yeah, I wasn't planned, but it's gonna, they're gonna meet my family in New York.
The best things are unplanned.
For example.
The best and the worst. I didn't finish
The
that
best and the worst.
Man, dude, one thing that just touching back on that Josh Wolff interview, he did talk about relationship building, team building. It takes time and work, but I think that goes into all relationships. Whether that be your lover or your friend. You gotta give people that time, that face to face, and whether it's old friends or new friends. I think Valentine's Day, some people think it's cheesy, but I think it celebrates kind of the most powerful force that we know, which is love. And that's special.
You know how you can love me? With a bottle of tequila.
Eso. Hey, ¿sabes qué? I got you, bro.
All right.
I got you.
Cool. No, it's true, man. It's true. Let's take this next coming week, to show some love to anyone. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be platonic, You have a buddy of yours that, you'd like to hang out with. Go hang out with him.
Yeah.
Whatever. Go to Pluckers, una carnita, algo. Hagan algo para su vida para que se sientan chidos.
Yes, sir. Be kind while we still can.
While we still can.
Yes,
exactly. Pero con esto cerramos otro episodio de Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
Se cuidan bien, se cuidan, se portan bien y arriba el América y el Liverpool. You never walk alone. Y abajo las Chivas, el Man U.
All right.
Dallas,
Cut it.
Houston.
Cut it.